Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Discussions. I've got quite the night for us. So much to talk about. 100%. We've got a lot to get into. Let's get right into it. We've got Rampage. We've got Impact Wrestling. We've got Smackdown. And we also have Hard to Kill, which is tonight. I'm going to go over predictions for all of them and the results from last night's Impact Wrestling. Let's start with that. So, Impact Wrestling. I talked a little bit about it. I gave my predictions. Last night, we saw Brian Myers with Matt Cardona, accompanied by Matt Cardona at ringside, versus Heath, Rhino, accompanied by Rhino at ringside. And now, last night, I predicted that Brian Myers would pick up the win. I was wrong. Heath beat Brian Myers. Heath got the win. And I mean that's interesting. That's very interesting to me. Um, the congratulations to Heath. No disrespect there. I think Heath is a great athlete. Just kind of caught me by surprise. Wasn't expecting it. Now moving straight down the list, we also saw the Knockouts World Tag Team Champion, or one of the world champions for the Knockouts Tag Division, Rosemary, take on Savannah Evans. Now, originally, I had said Rosemary was going to come out on top. That was my prediction, but I also said we could very well see Savannah Evans come out on top if her and the rest of her friends, screwed with Rosemary and screwed with Jessica and Taya Valkyrie, and it looks like they did just that. Tag Taya Valkyrie, from what I saw in the backstage, and Savannah Evans getting the victory over Rosemary. Now, I also talked about this a little bit last night. Sami Callihan, his initiation to the design was last night. He was supposed to shave his head, and he did shave his head. He is, I guess, an official member of the design. Now, I'm not sure if this is official, or if if Sami Callihan is going to stay a part of the design, or if this is just a temporary thing. But for now, it looks like Sami Callihan is officially a member of the design. Again, not sure how I feel about it. I think Sami Callihan's a great wrestler, and I think he's been doing very well since his return from injury. I would have liked to see him stay a little bit away from that of the design, stay against the design. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping Sami Callihan. I'm hoping this is all a trick, but I'm not sure. I'm hoping. Now, we also saw Mike Bailey versus Anthony Green. Again, my prediction for this was Mike Bailey, and I was proven correct. Mike Bailey with a victory over Anthony Green. And again, I think this is just going to boost Mike Bailey more and more and more. He had a great match with Josh Alexander a few weeks ago. A little bit before the end of the year of 2022, and it was match of the year for Impact Wrestling. It made match of the year. It was for the Impact World Championship. It was over an hour long, and it was one of the best matches I've seen in all of professional wrestling, to be quite honest with you. The moveset and style of that of Mike Bailey, and the fact that he's only been wrestling for so long, he's still on the young side of the professional wrestling spectrum. He has so much to go from here. I'm so happy for him. Very, very excited and thrilled for him. Now, we also saw some six-man tag action. We saw Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Steve Maclin take on Jonathan Gresham, Joe Hendry, and Rich Swann. Now, originally last night in predictions, I said Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Steve Maclin would pick up the win, and I was correct. Eddie Edwards, Moose, Steve Maclin defeating Jonathan Gresham, Joe Hendry, and Rich Swann. Now, this is certainly going to put all three of those guys over for their matches tonight in Hard to Kill, and I'll get a little bit more into those as we get deeper and deeper into tonight's episode. So those are the results from last night's Impact Wrestling. Now I'm going to switch things over to tonight's Rampage and give my predictions on that. And so let's get right into it. So let's see. Our first match for tonight's card, we got Darby Allin versus Juice Robinson for the TNT Championship. Now, I've seen Juice Robinson. We barely see him on AEW. This is his first match on AEW. He wrestled at Ring of Honor. He wrestled on the Ring of Honor Final Battle against Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor TV title, and it was what was, in my personal opinion, a great matchup. I loved their chemistry, and I'm a huge Juice Robinson fan. I am very excited to see him versus Darby Allin. I think it'll make for great match, great entertainment. However, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of getting a little sick and tired of Darby Allin. I think he's a great athlete, great wrestler, but I feel like they are putting him against all these athletic guys that, in my personal opinion, I think they could all be put over. Like, I think Juice Robinson could be the next TNT champion. I think Jungle Boy could be the next TNT champion. And these are all guys at this point that you know Darby Allin has defeated and will defeat. Like, predictions-wise, I'm just going to say now, Darby Allin is obviously going to retain the TNT title tonight. He's obviously going to beat Juice Robinson. No question there. And if Juice does somehow win and become new TNT champion, then Tony Khan is finally doing something right, in my opinion. Okay, so we're also going to see Eddie Kingston and Ortiz versus Malachi Black and Brody King. Now, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz, both tremendous wrestlers. However, Ortiz has not had a win in a long time. Eddie Kingston really doesn't... He hasn't been cutting it lately. He hasn't even been making it to TV lately. Like, he's really only been doing Rampage. He hasn't been on any Dynamites in how long. It's safe to say that Eddie Kingston is starting to kind of go downhill a little bit in terms of where they have him in the lineup. And that's sad to see. It really is. I think Eddie Kingston deserves much better. That's just my personal opinion. Now, predictions-wise, I'm going to go with Malachi Black and Brody King. They're still new to their return. And House of Black, I think, is still just so red hot right now. I think for sure Malachi Black and Brody King are going to pick up the win, especially considering that although Eddie Kingston and Ortiz are almost like that of a family, I feel as though that they will not have the tag team in-ring chemistry that of Malachi Black and Brody King will have going into this match, giving them not just an advantage, but a better reasoning behind Malachi and Brody winning this match. And I also think it's because the House of Black, almost in my opinion, I think it might be safe to say that they might kind of be in the head of, maybe not Eddie Kingston, but in the head of Ortiz a little. I think it's safe to say that ever since the loss of Santana, ever since the injury of Santana, Ortiz, I think it's safe to say that Ortiz is in a completely different headspace right now. He's not as focused as he once was. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. We're also going to see Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale taking on Ty Mello and Anna Jay in a street fight. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, so we've seen Ty Mello and Anna Jay in a street fight before, right? Probably one of the best street fights in all of AEW. Probably one of the best women's tag matches in all of AEW. Ty Mello and Anna Jay are amazing together, in my opinion. I think those two have great in-ring chemistry. Willow Nightingale has secured a victory over Anna Jay in the past. Ruby Soho has done the same to that of Ty Mello. However, they lost when it came to tag team action. This is a street fight. Now, we've seen Ruby Soho even with weapons. It doesn't always seem to get the job done. Tonight, however, I think with this being a street fight, I think this is a great way to finally put an end to this rivalry. Ruby Soho and Ty Mello have been going at it for a while, and then it turned into that of Ruby Soho taking on Anna Jay and Ty Mello. And, you know, I think it's safe to say this rivalry is finally coming to a close, and I love to see it. I'm going to go with Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale. That's my prediction for this one. I just think this one's coming to a close, it's coming to an end, and I think Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale are going to give it their all. And plus, I think this is going to severely put over Willow Nightingale. She's finally getting more TV time, the proper TV time, in my opinion. She's finally starting to get more in touch with that of not just the AEW audience, but more in touch, because I think she's been getting over with the AEW audience, but she's really finally starting to sink in with just, like, the locker room almost. Like, her chemistry in the ring is getting better and better and better, and her matches are lasting longer, and whoever, like the producers or the writers, whatever, it seems, in my opinion, they're finally starting to acknowledge her more as an athlete, as a wrestler, as a true professional in this industry, and I'm all for it. I love Willow Nightingale. I can't wait to see what she's going to do later down the road. Final prediction, Ruby Soho, Willow Nightingale. They're going to win this one for sure. We're also going to see the acclaimed Hollywood Walk of Fame segment. That's interesting to me. So, obviously, we've been seeing a lot here lately. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, they might still want the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Very well could happen. So, there's always that to look at. I don't know what could happen down the line. I don't know what might change down the road. But I think it's safe to say that Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett might intervene in that segment. That's my prediction on that. Alright, so that is our match card for Rampage. Those are my predictions. Now let's get into tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. This is a big one. So, we do have a title match tonight. Gunther will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Braun Strowman. Now, I've talked about this match so many times on this podcast. I have said before, I want this match to happen, I don't want it to happen. I have mixed feelings about this match, because if Braun Strowman wins, then who's going to take the belt from Braun Strowman? If Gunther wins, he just beat the Monster Among Men, and Braun Strowman is red hot right now, in my opinion, especially after his victory coming off a crown jewel against Omos. He is itching for some gold. It's got to be the Intercontinental Championship. I really don't know which side to pick on this one, but to be quite honest with you, this is a Friday Night Smackdown. It's not a pay-per-view. I don't really want to see Gunther lose his title unless it's on pay-per-view. I'm going to go with Gunther. Specifically because Ricochet has been, not really has been, but he's starting to feud with Hit Row. Braun Strowman got involved. I could see Hit Row making themselves noticeable in this match. I could see Imperium getting involved. I think, in my opinion, it is safe to say that Gunther will retain due to some interference, and then maybe down the road at the Royal Rumble, we'll see Gunther versus Braun Strowman. That is my hope, that is my wish, that is my expectation. Final prediction, Gunther retains the Intercontinental Championship tonight. Now, we're also going to see a renewed rivalry, a match that we have not seen since 2021, I want to say. I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think it was 2021 was their last singles match. We will see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in singles action. These two go way back. Sami Zayn said it himself, you cannot talk about the other's career without mentioning the other wrestler. These two are just so in sync. They have such a great chemistry. They work so well in and out of the ring together. Their segments that they put on, whether it be promos, whether it be wrestling matches, whether it be backstage brawls, whatever. These two can go all night, every night. It's incredible. They have such a great chemistry. This is going to be a great one. Now, it's safe to say Sami Zayn is already on thin ice with the bloodline. Roman Reigns is already on Sami Zayn's throat to a degree. Now, he apologized to Sami Zayn last week for his anger, for yelling at Sami Zayn in front of the whole audience. He apologized. He genuinely felt bad from what I could tell. However, Roman also seemed to have high expectations. He also seemed to be very adamant in Sami Zayn winning tonight's match. And so my prediction is going to be Kevin Owens. Not only is Kevin Owens on fire lately, but Kevin Owens is going into a match with Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. This is going to traject him into that by beating the honorary Sami Zayn. On top of that, this could potentially, again, build up more and more to the idea of, is the Bloodline going to betray Sami Zayn? When is the Bloodline going to betray Sami Zayn? If Sami does not win this match, this is 100% going to put more of a target on his back with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman. They're all going to be looking at Sami, thinking, you let us down, you betrayed us, you didn't get the job done. And so I think it's safe to say Kevin Owens is going to win this one tonight. He's got this one in the bag. I'm going KO. Final prediction on that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is our Friday night Smackdown predictions. Let's get into Hard to Kill. So first things first, I am actually going to start with the main card stuff, with the main event stuff. Going straight into it, I'm going to start with, let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. I'm going to start with Jordynne Grace versus Mickie James for the Knockouts World Championship. This is not just a regular match. This is a career versus title match. If Mickie James loses, her career is over, and she's never going to wrestle again. It seems to me like this isn't a career in the sense that this isn't, oh, you're going to leave Impact. I think this could be a potential retirement. And Impact Wrestling did a vignette, not a vignette, I'm sorry, they did like a whole interview with Mickie, and they went over her entire career from beginning to end. Independent scene, getting into TNA, leaving TNA, going to WWE, coming back and going back to TNA. They went through everything. I gotta be honest with you, the way they talked about it, the way she talked about it, I gotta go with Jordynne Grace. Final prediction. I gotta go with Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace is potentially one of the most powerful Knockouts Women's World Champions right now. She's been defending that title nonstop. She's been unstoppable since winning that title. And I think Mickie James might want to retire. And if she wants to retire, what is a better way to go out than at Hard to Kill against Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts World Championship? I gotta go with Jordynne Grace. I'm sorry, I gotta go with Jordynne Grace. I know Mickie James is the favorite. I know people want Mickie James to come out on top. I want Mickie James to come out on top. But I gotta say, deep down at the bottom of my heart, I think Jordynne Grace is gonna pick up the win. Now we also got Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray for the Impact World Championship in a Full Metal Mayhem match. Whew, this one's tough. Obviously, everyone probably thinking Josh Alexander because Bully Ray's a little on the older side. He's, a legend. This is probably just to put Josh over. In terms of predictions, though, I'm going to go with Bully Ray. I think Bully Ray is 100% inside the head of Josh Alexander. More so inside of the head of Josh Alexander than anyone else. More than Moose, more than Sami Callihan could get into anyone's head. I think Bully Ray has dug himself so deep into Josh's head that it would almost be criminal to not have Bully Ray win the title tonight. And I mean, just their promo work. Like, this rivalry is incredible right now. I don't want to... The segments they've been putting on, the things that Bully Ray's been doing, even without Josh, like with Tommy Dreamer, with Scott D'Amore. I want to see that. I want to see more of that. So I gotta go with Bully Ray on this. I got to go with Bully Ray on this one. Alright, so we're also going to see Jonathan Gresham versus Eddie Edwards now. Obviously, I talked about this earlier in the episode. Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Joe Hendry did win the Trios tag match and defeated Jonathan Gresham. I'm sorry, not Joe Hendry. Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Steve Macklin defeated Joe Hendry, Rich Swann, and Jonathan Gresham in Trios tag action. Now, all that being said, though, I think Jonathan Gresham, this is his first singles match, and it's on pay-per-view since being signed to Impact Wrestling. And he's going up against what was the former heart and soul of Impact Wrestling, Eddie Edwards. I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham. I think Jonathan Gresham, this is going to be his moment to shine. This is going to be his moment to show his true technical in-ring capabilities. And I think this is going to be a fight. I think this is going to be a big fight. I think Eddie Edwards is going to have to put his heart and soul on the line. I think Jonathan Gresham's going to have to put his heart and soul on the line. And I think this is going to be a major grudge match. But at the end of the day, I got to go with Jonathan Gresham on this one. We're also going to see Joe Hendry versus Moose for the Digital Media Championship. I don't like this match, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Moose is much further surpassed than that of the Digital Media Championship. I think he deserves so much better than a match for the Digital Media Championship. And he better win, first of all. I don't really see this Joe Hendry guy beating Moose, first off. I don't know much about Joe Hendry, but I'm going to say it now. I think Moose should 100% win this match. 100% have this one in the bag. That's my prediction. And I'm hoping that if he does win, that Moose can take this title and elevate it a little more and make it like that of the Ring of Honor TV Championship, because I think it needs to be elevated. I think it needs to be put over a little further, a little more than that of what others are seeing, Because right now I think this title has been switching hands too often. This title is, honestly, the people holding this title aren't even like, they're not even really doing anything in terms of prestige and in terms of, like, on Impact Wrestling. Like, they're not even really, like, I don't see them doing anything that's story-worthy, that's really eye-catching or entertaining. Moose, I think, could certainly put this title on a whole nother level, put this title on the map for Impact Wrestling. So my prediction for that's going to be Moose. Now, for the X Division Championship, we're going to see Trey Miguel versus Black Taurus. Trey Miguel, former X Division champion. In fact, I think he's like a former 2-time X Division champion. I'm going to go with Black Taurus on this one. Listen, I think Trey Miguel's a fantastic wrestler, and I think he, with the X Division title around his waist, I think he does an even greater job, in the ring as with that championship. But I think, Black Taurus has fought for the X Division title before. I think Black Taurus has been kind of trying to show off his skill a little more. He defeated Anthony Green 2 weeks ago in preparation for this match. He's been, I think Black Taurus has been trying his hardest more and more and kind of putting himself out there. I would love to see Black Taurus win the X Division title. Final prediction, Black Taurus. Alright, so Steve Maclin versus Rich Swann. Falls count anywhere. Oh, this one's an interesting one. So Rich Swann and Steve Maclin, obviously a few weeks ago, kind of having some issues with one another to the point where, well, I forget if the match ended in disqualification or what it ended in, but it ended in a full-on assault between these two, just going at it again and again and again. And obviously, Steve Maclin, he just wants to be the best. And I think he wants to go all the way to that of the Impact World Championship, and I say let him. I say let him go that far. Rich Swann, same thing, and I think Rich Swann's tired of the disrespect. I've been seeing Rich Swann fighting all these guys here lately, these past few months, and I feel like he's either just been getting assaulted from behind, or he's been losing the big ones, or he hasn't really, you know what I mean? I think Rich is tired of the disrespect. However, this is a falls count anywhere. Steve Maclin is a brutal, vindictive, sadistic man in that ring. He is a monster in that ring. Adding weapons to the mix, adding the stipulation of a falls count anywhere match to the mix, I gotta go with Steve on this one. I gotta go with Steve Maclin. Alright, now here's probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Motor City Machine Guns versus Major Players versus Heath and Rhino versus Ace Austin and Chris Bay for the Impact World Tag Team Championship in an elimination match. This is big. So obviously Motor City Machine Guns coming off of an impressive victory for the Impact World Tag Team Championships against that of Heath and Rhino. I don't particularly want to see Motor City Machine Guns lose their title so quickly. However, we have seen it before. It very well could happen tonight. I mean, we have some impressive teams. We really do. We have Major Players. We have Heath and Rhino. We have Ace Austin and Chris Bay. However, this being said, just 2 weeks ago, Chris Sabin went one-on-one with Matt Cardona and still picked up the victory. Which kind of puts Motor City a little more on the map, right? It kind of puts them a little over. It kind of shows that, hey, listen, Motor City Machine Guns are not a team to mess with. They are not just the Impact World Tag Team Champions. They are the Impact World Tag Team Champions plus the New Japan Strong Tag Team Champions. And so they have double gold right now. They have 2 titles. I don't want to see them lose either belt yet. I especially don't want to see them lose the Impact World Championship so early on. I'm going to go with Motor City Machine Guns for this one, for that prediction. That's my prediction on that one. Now, we have a number 1 contender contenders match for the for the Knockout World Championship. I'm going to go. So first of all, let me go through who we have. We have Masha Slamovic versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Taylor Wilde versus Killer Kelly in a Knockouts #1 contenders match. Now, I don't know much about Killer Kelly. I don't know much about Masha Slamovic, but I mentioned this before. Masha Slamovic went one-on-one with Taylor Wilde a couple weeks back. Taylor Wilde did get the victory, although from what I've been hearing, Masha Slamovic went pretty wild in that. And so, looking on this, out of all these wrestlers, though, and I gotta be honest, there's only one wrestler I really seen be able to beat Jordynne Grace, and that is Deonna Purrazzo. I think Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace almost have a bit of a rivalry, going back a couple years ago, back when they were really feuding, when Deonna Purrazzo fought and retired Jazz. I think this is huge, and I think it's long-term storytelling at its finest. I would love to see Deonna Purrazzo win this match, and then fight Jordynne Grace, and maybe even win the Knockouts World Championship afterwards. And so I'm going to go with Deonna Purrazzo. That's my prediction on that. I'm going to go with Deonna Purrazzo. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want the results, you will get them, because tomorrow's episode will contain the results for Rampage, will contain the results for Friday Night Smackdown, and it will most certainly contain the results for Hard to Kill. I can't wait to go over all of this in tomorrow's episode. I'm hoping you guys think the same way. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out, and have a great night, ladies and gentlemen.